Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 7th of July 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affair. So watch this video till last. But I am requesting you all the students to download this application. Application name is Careers Cloud and you can download from the description box link. After downloading, you can log in with your email ID and you can click on this crack current affair section and you can subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2-year validity of current affairs. Guys, we are providing 90 to 95% of current affairs which are coming in your exam. This is the genuinity of Affairs Cloud. This is the hard work of Affairs Cloud team. And guys, how we are covering this current affair? We are providing you daily current affair section. In this section, you will receive three things. One is detail, current affairs, question and answer format of current affair, and the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. Again, you will receive three things. One is detailed current affair, question and answer format of current affair, and the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. And the most important section here is the monthly section. We are providing four things. One is detailed current affair, question and answer format of current affairs. Best 100 current affairs will be provided to you in the form of question and answer and pocket PDF. It means 2-liner and the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you so that you can revise the current affair very easily before your exam. But to enhance your performance, we are also providing topic-wise current affairs. We are covering 20 most important topics which are very important for every type of exam. It means if you want to cover all the news is related to just one particular topic, then you can use these type of topic-wise current affairs. And guys, we are also providing banking awareness section, especially for the banking aspirants. Like three things we are providing: detail and the question and answer format of current affairs only related to banking and economy, and one is the quiz section only for the banking and economy section, and you can attempt on our application on monthly basis. If you want to revise all the past current affair of 2021, like 5 to 6 month current affair from single PDF, then you can use this exam PDF. We are also providing detailed budget and economic survey, and we are also providing you expected question and answer which examiner can ask from budget and economic survey. And guys, we are also providing state current affairs, especially for the state aspirants who are preparing for their state exams, and this will definitely improve your efficiency. And we are covering every state and union territory. So there is no different subscription for all topics, but we are providing all these things under one subscription. You have to just download our application Careers Cloud, and link is given in the description box. You can log in with your email ID and you have to click on this crack current affair section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year validity as well as for 2-year validity. Both the subscription prices are very much low. If you see the price, you will definitely surprise, but on that minimal price, we are providing 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. If you have any query, you can mail us on this email ID. You can contact us on this number. So let's begin today's session, that is 7th of July 2021. But I'm again requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, you have to share this video, and you have to subscribe this channel. By doing these three things, it means you are providing us motivation. And guys, please join our Telegram group from the description box link. And here is the first question and the most important question: who became the brand ambassador of Khadi Prakritik paint or cow dung paint to promote the paint across the country? So why we are covering this question is the most important question, because one of our union minister became the brand ambassador of this Khadi Prakritik paint or cow dung paint, and answer of this question is Nitin Gadkari. Our union minister of road transport and highway and micro, small and medium enterprises announced himself as the brand ambassador of this cow dung paint to promote the paint across the country and encourage the young entrepreneurs to manufacture it. And you can see here, it is to promote the paint across the country and encourage the young entrepreneurs to manufacture it. And Khadi Prakritik paint is the India's first and only paint made from the cow dung. And he also inaugurated a new automated manufacturing unit of Khadi Prakritik paint virtually in Jaipur, Rajasthan. You can also remember that a new automated manufacturing unit was also established in Jaipur, Rajasthan, especially the students of the Rajasthan. And the new unit was intended to double the production of capacity of this cow dung paint from 500 liters. That is the current production is. And it contains Asht Labh, that are the 8 benefits of this paint. It means this paint is providing 8 type of benefits like antibacterial, antifungal, natural thermal insulation properties, and it also eco-friendly, non-toxic, odorless and cost-effective. It is free from heavy metals like lead, mercury, chromium, arsenic, cadmium and the other things. And the paint is manufactured by using scientifically treated cow dung as a main raw material. So you have to remember the main points which are highlighted here in the red point, like India's first only made paint made from the cow dung, and the plant was started in Jaipur, Rajasthan, and it will enhance the production of this cow dung paint. And the brand ambassador is Nitin Gadkari. Just remember these things. These are very important, and this is basically promoted by Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. You can remember this. Moving to next question. It is from picture and it is the most important question. President Ram Nath Kovind appointed new governors for 8 states. Now, you can't remember just in one go. You have to remember on the daily basis. Like you can remember today for 2 states, now for another day, another 2 states. So you can remember like slowly, you will remember. And you can see here under Article 155, the Indian Constitution stated that the governor of a state shall be appointed by the president. So very simple, under Article 155, governor will be appointed by president. And under Article 159, the Chief Justice of the concerned State High Court administer the oath of office to the governor. It means oath of office will be administered by the Chief Justice of concerned State High Court. You can see here the list of the governors, like you can see Goa Chief Minister, because the Chief Minister of Goa currently is Bhagat Singh Kishori, but he is also the governor of Maharashtra. So it means he has additional charge of the Goa. So that's why there is a need of permanent governor of Goa state, and the new governor is P.S. Sridharan Pillai. He is currently serving as the governor of Mizoram, but you have to remember Goa's new governor is P.S. Sridharan Pillai. And he is appointed 19th governor of Goa, and he is a BJP leader from Kerala and currently serving as the governor of Mizoram. Next is Tripura. You can see here Satyadev Narayan Arya. He is currently serving as the governor of Haryana, but he will take charge as a governor of Tripura. Currently the governor of Tripura is Ramesh Bais, you can see here. Ramesh Bais. And this Satyadev Narayan Arya also become the 19th governor of Tripura. And he is a leader of BJP from Bihar and previously held the position as Minister of Mines, Geology and in the Bihar cabinet. Next is Jharkhand. The Ramesh Bais, who is currently the governor of Tripura, now become the governor of Jharkhand. And you can remember, he became the 9th governor of the Jharkhand. Next is Thawarchand Gehlot, very famous name. Examiner can ask this question because this is most important governor appointment. He is currently serving as the Union Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, but now he became the governor of Karnataka, and he became the 19th governor of Karnataka, again 19th. So Goa 19th, Tripura 19th and Karnataka 19th. Very easy to remember. He is Rajya Sabha member of parliament from Madhya Pradesh, but now he have to resign. Next, Bandaru Dattatreya. He is currently serving as the governor of Himachal Pradesh. He will become the 17th governor of Haryana, and currently governor is Satyadev Narayan Arya. We already discussed. Next is Mizoram governor, Dr. Hari Babu Kambhapati. So you can just remember the name Dr. Hari Babu. And Madhya Pradesh, Maghubai Chhaganbhai Patel. This is again most important. I am writing here which are most important appointments. So remember this, Maghubai Chhaganbhai Patel, because after the death of Lalji Tandon, additional charge was given to the Anandibain Patel, who is also the governor of Uttar Pradesh. So that's why there is need of permanent governor of Madhya Pradesh, Maghubai Chhaganbhai Patel. Very important. And again, he is the 19th governor of Madhya Pradesh. So 4 states, you can see here the 4 states, 19th governor of the state. Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar. He became the 21st governor of Himachal Pradesh. Earlier, this position goes to Bandaru Dattatreya ji, but now new governor is Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar. And guys, you can also remember that this Arlekar is a BJP leader from Goa and served as the Speaker of Goa Assembly from 2012 to 2015. So you can't remember these things in one go. Just remember first, I am just rubbing this. First remember Goa, Karnataka, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh. These 4 states are most important for you. So remember these first. Like Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Karnataka, Goa. But I am making videos only for the governors, and put you some questions in evening session, and definitely you will recognize the governor's name from this video. Now we are moving to the next question. Which film has won the Best Biographical Film Award at the Toronto International Women Film Festival 2021? So, the most important keyword under this question is Toronto International Women Film Festival 2021, and the Best Biographical Film is Decoding Shankar. It is on the Shankar Mahadevan, very versatile singer. You can see here. Decoding Shankar. It is on Shankar Mahadevan. You can see the picture of Shankar Mahadevan, and it is a documentary on singer Shankar Mahadevan titled Decoding Shankar. Has won Best Biographical Film Award at the Toronto International Women Film Festival 2021. And the documentary was directed by Kochi-based filmmaker Dipti Pillai Sivan or Dipti Pillai Sivan. You can remember the name Dipti Pillai Sivan or Sivan. And this documentary also won award in the Indo-French International Film Festival. You can also remember if you want. Otherwise, the most important thing is Toronto International Film Festival, Decoding Shankar. It is on the Shankar Mahadevan, and it is directed by Dipti Pillai Sivan. This is very important thing. And guys, remember the other important awards which was won by these movies, because these are again the most important things. And we covered this question in the most important section, like Happy Birthday. Happy Birthday movie is a short movie, and Anupam Kher, remember Anupam, I'm writing here, Anupam Kher won the Best Actor Award for his performance in a short movie, this Happy Birthday, at New York International Film Festival. New York International Film Festival. Next is Puglia. It is a Marathi movie, and this film won the Best Foreign Language Feature Award at Moscow International Film Festival 2021 in Moscow. Next is Kozangal. Kozangal basically won the 50th International Film Festival Rotterdam 2021. Remember, 50th International Film Festival Award, Rotterdam Award of 2021. So it is International Film Festival Rotterdam. So I'm repeating again, for the Happy Birthday movie, Anupam Kher won the Best Actor in the New York Film Festival. And Puglia is Marathi movie, and this movie won the Best Foreign Language Feature Award at the Moscow International Film Festival. Decoding Shankar in the Toronto International Women Film Festival, and Kozangal 50th International Film Festival Rotterdam Award of 2021. So I think I repeated again and again so that you can remember. So moving to next section, it is a very important question section. You have to like this video, share this video, and subscribe this channel. And guys, please provide these 3 things so that you can motivate us. And please join our Telegram group from the description box link. And here is the question. What was the name of the director of Superman movie who was recently passed away? Very simple question. Superman movie, the first part of the Superman movie was directed by Richard Donner. He was 91 years old and he belongs to United States of America. You can see here the picture of Richard Donner, and he dies, and he was director of Superman, Lethal Weapon, The Omen, Maverick, and Conspiracy Theory, and Lethal Weapon movie series, part 1, part 2 and part 3, all are directed by Richard Donner. So very famous. And you can also remember movie director from Hollywood. Examiner can ask the profession. So movie director, and he's the creator of first Superman movie. And you can also remember the first debut movie was X-15. It means first movie directed by this director is X-15, and it was directed in 1961. Year is not important. You have to remember the first movie of this director, X-15. And guys, remember, examiner can ask this question about the Superman because it is a blockbuster movie, and also the Lethal Weapon series. This is again blockbuster movie series. You have to remember. So the name is very important, Richard Donner. But you can also remember the other obituaries here, like Michael Collins. Michael Collins, basically American astronaut pilot. Yuan Longping, very important obituary. Chinese scientist who was known for developing the hybrid rice, and belongs to China. Didier Ratsiraka, and this is the former president of Madagascar. So remember these obituaries. Moving to next question. Delhi Metro Rail Corporation or DMRC launched India's first FASTag UPI based cashless parking facility at metro station. At which metro station? So the name of the metro station is Kashmiri Gate Metro Station. So just remember the question as in slide. This question is more enough than anything. And this is started by DMRC, and it is launched with the help of National Payment Corporation of India, because we are talking about the unified payment interface. And it is with the help of FASTag. You can do the parking fees transaction through your UPI ID. And you can see here, Delhi Metro launches India's first UPI based cashless parking at this station, that is Kashmiri Gate Metro Station. And you can see here, it is the only the vehicles with FASTag are allowed to utilize the parking facility. For this DCMR, basically DMCR, not DCMR, Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, DMRC, has partnered with the National Payment Corporation of India to launch this 100% digital parking plaza with the National Electronic Toll Collection FASTag contactless parking solution at Kashmiri Gate. And this cashless parking project is a part of Digital India initiative. And the senior officials of DMRC and you can say the NPCI were also present during the launch. And the parking facility can accommodate 55 four-wheelers and 174 two-wheelers. And the facility will accept the parking payments through the FASTag for four-wheelers, and the two-wheelers can pay using the UPI applications. So you have to just remember the name of this metro station, and you can pay your parking fees through UPI. This is the most important thing. But you can remember about the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, DMRC. Managing Director is Dr. Mangu Singh. This is most important thing, Dr. Mangu Singh. And its chairman is Durga Shankar Mishra. Chairman is Durga Shankar, but MD is most important, Dr. Mangu Singh. And remember about NPCI, its MD and CEO is Dilip Asbe. Dilip Asbe, and this was established in 2008. Moving to next question. Which company partnered with Statwig to implement Vaccine Ledger, a global vaccine tracker platform? The very important thing under this question is this name Statwig and this Vaccine Ledger program. Statwig is basically a digital supply chain provider company, and Vaccine Ledger is name of the platform. And name of this company who tied up with this Statwig is Tech Mahindra. And guys, remember, Vaccine Ledger is set to collaborate with the countries across the world to facilitate transparency in the vaccine supply chain and predict failure of the cold storage facility, thereby eliminating wastage of the life-saving drugs. And you can see here, Tech Mahindra partners with Statwig to implement Vaccine Ledger globally. And you can see here, it is for the transparency in the vaccine supply chain and to eliminate wastage of this life-saving drugs. And it is an open source platform based on the blockchain technology that maintains end-to-end track of COVID-19 vaccine supply chain. It can easily integrate with the existing vaccine tracking system of various countries and also adherence to their complex regulatory requirements, and uses blockchain technology to effectively maintain complex records like inventory management, vendor payments, Internet of Things integration, and smart contract, date of purchase and expiry things. So we have to remember blockchain technology is used, and this Vaccine Ledger will collaborate with the world, all over world countries, so that we can establish a transparency in the vaccine chain supply and eliminate the wastage of the life-saving drugs, especially the COVID-19 vaccines. And guys, remember about Tech Mahindra here. This is important for you. Tech Mahindra was established in 1986. Year is not important. CEO and Managing Director CP Gurnani. If you want to remember, you can. Headquarters is in Pune, Maharashtra. Moving to next question. FlexiLoans.com collaborated with which company to offer digital and feasible loans to small and medium-sized enterprises? In simple word, you can say that this FlexiLoan.com will use the company's platform and can provide loan to the small and medium-sized enterprises. And this company is Google Pay. It means FlexiLoan.com will use the Google Pay platform to provide the loans to small and medium-sized enterprises, especially in the COVID-19 stress. And you can see here, Flexi Loans partner with the Google Pay to provide digital loans to the SMEs. And Flexi Loan is the first lender to go live on the Google Pay platform. It means the collaboration is intended to provide loans to the small merchants and entrepreneurs in India, those who are unable to access formal credit. And guys, they will disburse the loan over 50,000 small and medium businesses in the next 12 months. This is the target of this FlexiLoan.com. And the technology platform of Flexi Loans, which is designed with the embedded credit capabilities, has developed across many ecosystems in the country, because Flexi Loans had disbursed unsecured business loans worth rupees 10,000 10,000 crore in 1400 cities across India in the last 4 years, and it is a more than 100 ecosystem partners to reach the 5 million MSMEs in the country. This is the target of FlexiLoan. But you have to remember the keywords here. FlexiLoan partners with the Google Pay. It means FlexiLoan will use the platform of the Google Pay to provide the digital loans to the SMEs, and they have a target of 50,000 small and medium business enterprises in the 1 year, or you can say the 12 months. But you have to remember about Google Pay. It is a venture of Google, and remember, Google Pay was established in 2018. Its headquarters is in California, United States of America, and Google CEO is Sundar Pichai. But Google Pay firstly launched on the Android system in 2015. But after that, on the other platform, it was also launched in 2018. Moving to next question. Which bank launched Salam Dil Se initiative to acknowledge services of doctors? Earlier, ICICI Bank launched one platform which is known as Salute Doctors. Now, HDFC Bank launched this Salam Dil Se initiative to acknowledge services of doctors. You can see here a web portal has been created by bank for this services like salamdilse.com. And the bank also virtually facilitated Padam Bhushan Dr. Naresh Tehran, a renowned cardiovascular and the cardiothoracic surgeon, as a thank you gesture from the bank to all doctors across the country. And remember, very famous Dr. Naresh Tehran is currently the chairman and managing director and chief cardiac surgeon at the Medanta Hospital, which is situated in Gurugram, Haryana. And the bank also unveiled Wall of Dedication at its corporate office in the Worli in Mumbai, Maharashtra. And guys, it is consisted of a collage of thank you messages for doctors from across the country. Even an anthem, a musical tribute to doctors during bank staff from remotest location was also released. A musical tribute to doctors featuring banking staff from remotest location also released. But you have to remember the keywords here, Salam Dil Se, and it is started by HDFC Bank to provide the tribute to the doctors, and where the general public can also log in and share their thank you message for the doctors, and these can be shared via email, social media, and the WhatsApp also. So you have to remember about HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank was basically established in which year? It was established in 1994. Its MD and CEO is Shashidhar Jagdishan. Its headquarters is in Mumbai, and its tagline is "We understand your world," and its chatbot name is Eva. Moving to next question. Financial Investment Trade Africa, or known as FITA 2021, held in which country? So you have to just remember the question as in slide. Answer of this question is Tunisia. And under this Financial Investment Trade Africa platform, one agreement was signed between the Indian Economic Trade Organization and Libyan African Business Council. And you can see here a memorandum of cooperation was signed between the Indian Economic Trade Organization and Libyan African Business Council, and to enhance business structures of both the countries and to team up in the various domains like healthcare, you can say information technology, maintenance, repair, and the overhaul, support in the aerospace sector, support the academic institutions by collaborating with the Indian Skills Center. So this is the main collaboration between the two countries, and both the countries will cater to immediate need for the health professions in the Libya. Even under this summit, which is known as Financial Investment Trade Africa, Libya also want to host a summit which is known as Libya India Trade Forum in November in the capital city, which is known as Tripoli, the capital of Libya. And IETO stands for, you can see here, Indian Economic Trade Organization, also shown interest in opening new markets, especially in agriculture machinery from South India, as it supports various SMEs from South India. It also supplies medicines, fast-moving consumer good products, and the food processing technology from India. So you have to just remember there is an agreement between India and Libya for the collaboration in the various sectors, and this memorandum of agreement was signed during the Financial Investment Trade Africa, which was held in Tunisia. So you have to just remember this word. Moving to next question. What is the name of new agri-commodity indices which was recently launched by National Commodity and Derivatives Exchange, NCDEX, and name of these two agri-commodity indices is known as GuarX and SOIDEX, and answer of this question is both A and C. And you can see here NCDEX Pragrati Ka Solid Exchange launched two sectoral agri-commodity indices. One is known as GuarX, second is SOIDEX. SOIDEX is basically related to soya bean, and GuarX is basically guar seed. belong to guar seed. You can see here the guar seed and the soybean oil. And Guarex and the Soedex were also India's first return-based agriculture features index in agriculture commodities. Both the indices, one is known as Guarex, second is the Sodex, will be available on the NCDX website to present the performance of Guar complex and the Soy complex. And you can say the main feature of this Guarex, like it tracked the change in the price of the future contracts of the Guar seed and the Guar gum refined splints on the real-time basis. But the future trading will be released later on. Soydex, it will also trace the price changes in the future contracts of the soybean and refined soya oil. And guys, you can also remember that in 2020, NCDX launched AgriDex. AgriDex. You can also remember this. It is a return-based composite index tracking features price movement in the 10 commodities of the NCDX. It has given over 40% return within the 1 year of operation, because we can compare now in 2021, because 1 year almost now completed, and almost 40% return within 1 year of operation, this AgriDex. So it is very useful for the trading purposes also. So you have to remember Guarex, you have to remember Soedex, and it is released by which organization? That is National Commodity Exchange, or you can say National Commodity and Derivative Exchange. And you have to remember this organization was established in 2003. It is regulated by SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. Its headquarters is in Mumbai, and most important MD and CEO who was recently appointed, Arun Raste. Arun Raste. By Raste you can remember very easily, Arun Raste. Moving to next question. Which airport from India has won the Role of Excellence honor in the airport service quality for 2020? We covered this question on the 29th of June video. But at that time, only one airport was selected from Indian side. Now, one airport more added from the Indian side. This is Kempegowda International Airport. This airport is situated in Karnataka, and owned by the Bangalore International Airport Limited, and it is also inducted into the Airports Council International Director General Role of Excellence Award for 2020. Earlier, only one airport was selected, which was Cochin International Airport Limited. Now, two airports were selected, so that's why we are covering this question again. So, answer of this question is both A and B. So, you can also watch the 29th video and you can see this question, and the only answer was Cochin International Airport. But now, answer is Kempegowda and the Cochin International Airport, both. So, answer of this question is both A and B. And earlier, all over world, total you can say 5 airports were selected. Now, total 6 airports are selected. And you can see here this Airport Council International Director General Role of Excellence Award recognizes the airports that delivered excellence in the customer services by winning multiple airport service quality awards over the period of 5 years. So by this process they are basically selected. So you can also remember this, but you have to remember the main important name of the airport. Moving to next question. Ramgarh Vishdari Sanctuary became the 4th tiger reserve of which state? Again, very important, and it became the 52nd tiger reserve of the India. So you can remember 52nd tiger reserve of India is Ramgarh Vishdari Sanctuary, and it is in Rajasthan. So Rajasthan has already 3 tiger reserves, but now this is newly added and it become the 4th tiger reserve of Rajasthan, and this is approved by National Tiger Conservation Authority, and this name is very important, Ramgarh Vishdari Sanctuary into 4th Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan. You can see the red words here, 52nd. This is important, Tiger Reserve in India. Another 3 Tiger Reserves in Rajasthan is Ranthambore, Sariska and Mukundra Tiger Reserve. These are very, very important Tiger Reserves in Rajasthan. Mukundra, Sariska and Ranthambore. And this tiger reserve, which is known as Ramgarh Tiger Reserve, it falls between the 2 tiger reserves. One is the Ranthambore and second is the Mukundra. This line is specially for the Rajasthan students. This question can be asked in the RAS exam. And the total area of this tiger reserve is 1071 square kilometer. And this was established as a wildlife sanctuary in 1982. You can remember, especially again for the Rajasthan students. But for the overall exam, you have to just remember 52nd tiger reserve, and it is in Rajasthan. And another tiger reserves in Rajasthan is Ranthambore, Sariska and the Mukundra. And you can also remember the recent related news, especially about the tigers. The tiger, which was declared as extinct, in India in 1952, reintroduced in India in November 2021 at Kuno National Park. This question is most important question, and Kuno National Park is in Madhya Pradesh. And guys, remember, it is the first time in the world that a large carnivorous animal will be relocated from one continent to another. Because as per the plan, 10 African cheetahs will be brought from the South Africa and Namibia and reintroduced in India. In which national park? In Kuno National Park. So it is the first time that in the world that a large carnivore animal will be relocated from one continent to another. But you can also remember, cheetah was declared extinct in India in 1952. And guys, you can also remember about this body, NTCA. NTCA stands for National Tiger Conservation Authority. It is a statutory body under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And this body was established in the year of 2005. And its main objective is to provide statutory authority to the Project Tiger so that the compliance of its directives becomes legal. And Project Tiger was started in 1973. This question was asked in so many times. And when Project Tiger was launched in 1973, only 9 tiger reserves were there in India. And now these are 52. So remember, in Rajasthan, remember Ramgarh Vishtari Sanctuary, which was converted to Tiger Reserve. And remember our Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Union Minister is Prakash Javadekar ji, and he is currently the member of Rajya Sabha from Maharashtra. And National Tiger Conservation Authority, I already told you. Moving to next question. Ministry of Tribal Affairs and which ministry signed a joint communication to give more powers to the tribal community? It means both the ministries basically formed a joint commission so that they can give more power to the tribal community to enhance their resources, to enhance their income, or to enhance their livelihood. And this is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Livelihood, or you can say Environment, Forest and Climate Change again. So you can see here, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change and Ministry of Tribal Affairs signed a joint commission to provide more powers to the tribal communities in managing forest. So it will provide more income, it will provide a variety of needs, and it will also include livelihood, you can say habitation and the other socio-culture needs. And it will give more power to the tribal communities in managing the forest resource, and it will effective implementation of the scheduled tribes and the other traditional forest dwellers recognized under the Forest Right Act of 2006, which is also known as Forest Act of 2006. And the signing ceremony was held in hybrid mode. And you can also remember that this Forest Act of 2006 recognizes the rights of the forest dwelling tribals communities and other traditional forest dwellers to forest resources on these, which communities were dependent on variety of needs including livelihood, you can say the habitation and other socio-cultural needs. It empowers the forest dweller to assess and use the forest resources in the manner that they are traditionally you can say accustomed to protect, conserve and manage forest, and protect forest dwellers from the unlawful evictions, and also provide for basic development facilities for the community of forest dwellers to assess facilities of education, health, nutrition and infrastructure, etc. So according to the United Nations Development Programme or UNDP, nearly 23% of India's landscape comprises of forest area, and around 200 million citizens were dependent on the forest for their livelihood. So there is a need to increase the livelihood, to enhance the livelihood of these forest dwellers by providing some extra powers to the forest dwellers so that they can use best forest resources for their livelihood. So this is the important criteria. So Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Union Minister is Arjun Munda ji. Lok Sabha constituency is Khunti, and Khunti is in Jharkhand. And Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, we already covered that. Prakash Javadekar ji is currently Union Minister. Moving to next question. Who launched Nipun Bharat program? Nipun Bharat program. This program is launched by our Union Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank ji, and you can see here the smiling face of Ramesh Pokhriyal ji, and he launched this Nipun Bharat program. Nipun stands for National Initiative for Proficiency in Reading with Understanding and Numeracy. And you can also remember that its main aim to ensure every child in India attains foundational literacy and numeracy at the end of the grade 3 by the year of 2026-27. You have to remember, it is till the end of the grade 3, so that every child every child till the age till the end of grade 3 gets the foundation literacy and numeracy, and it should be achieved by the year of 2026-27. Earlier, the target was under the National Education Policy of 2020 is 2025. The target was this, but it was pushed back to 2026-27 due to COVID-19, which was disrupted 2 academic years. So that's why it was pushed to 2026-27. Earlier, we have to achieve this target by the year of 2025 under the National Education Policy of 2020. And guys, you can also remember it will cover the learning needs of the children in the age group of 3 to 9 years, because we are talking till the grade 3, so it means the age will be 3 to 9 years. And guys, recently one program was launched by the Ministry of Education, which was known as the Nishtha program, and Nishtha stands for National Initiative for the School Heads and the Teachers Holistic Advancement. It is also being implemented by the NCRT, National Council of Education Research and Training. So the main aim of this Nishtha is to provide training to the teachers. Around 25 lakh teachers, training teachers, you can say the teachers training at primary to primary grade will be trained in the current year on the National Foundational Literacy and the Numeracy Mission. In simple word, you can say that 25 lakh teachers which are teaching in the primary or the, you can say the pre-primary to primary grade, they will be trained under this mission. So you can also remember this. So Nipun Bharat mission, and one is the Nishtha mission. Nishtha is basically for the school teachers, providing training to the pre-primary and the primary school teachers, and this Nipun Bharat is to provide the foundational literacy and the numeracy at the end of the grade 3 till the year of 2026-27. So all things are very, very important. And remember about Ministry of Education, Ramesh Pokhriyal ji is here, and his constituency is Haridwar. Haridwar is in Uttarakhand. Moving to next question. 52nd edition of the International Film Festival of India will be held in which state? Very simple question, because every year it is hosted by this state, and answer of this question is Goa. So why we are covering under the very important section? Because you have to remember this number. It is the 52nd edition which is celebrated in 2021, but it is also celebrated in the hybrid format like the last year. You can see here 52nd International Film Festival of India to be held from 20th to 28th of November 2021 in Goa, and it is announced by Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. And again, Union Minister of Information and Broadcasting is Prakash Javadekar ji. And you can see here 20th to 28th of November 2021, it will be held in hybrid format. But the most important thing, in 2021, we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of very famous filmmaker Satyajit Ray. To mark this, a special retrospective was arranged by the Directorate of Film Festivals at the 52nd International Film Festival of India. A new award was announced, which is known as Satyajit Ray Lifetime Achievement Award for the Excellence in Cinema, will be instituted annually, and it will start from year 2021. It means the first award, Satyajit Ray Lifetime Achievement Award for Excellence in Cinema, will be given in the year of 2021. And Satyajit Ray is the only Indian to receive the Academy Honorary Award when he received it during the 1992 Oscar. That's why this filmmaker became the versatile filmmaker and legendary filmmaker. So you have to remember. And International Film Festival of India, this is again very important film festival all over world, and this is the India's largest and one of the Asia's oldest film festival, and it is recognized by International Federation of the Film Producer Organization, and every year it is held in Goa, because it is hosted by Government of Goa, Directorate of Film Festival and Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. It was established in which year? It was established in 1952. Moving to next question, but you can also remember about Goa here. Earlier, the governor of Goa was Bhagat Singh Kishori, but he has the additional charge of Goa because he was also the governor of Maharashtra. Now, a new governor, permanent governor was appointed, that is P.S. Sridharan Pillai. P.S. Sridharan Pillai. So you can remember this. And Chief Minister is Pramod Sawant. And guys, remember, very important national park is there, Molam National Park. Mahavir National Park is also there, but Molam National Park is most important. Bhagwan Mahavir is basically a wildlife sanctuary, not a national park. Molam National Park is most important. Moving to next question. Which bank has partnered with Creditas Solutions to offer a guided and customized digital debt management solution? So you have to remember the name of this company. This question is only for the banking students, Creditas. And you can also remember that this company Creditas will provide the solutions to the customers of this bank, and this bank is again HDFC Bank. So you can remember here HDFC and Creditas solutions to enable digital self-service credit portal. And you can see here Creditas provides a fully integrated, ready to deploy credit help program to address the challenges faced by the users while managing their credit card and the loan payments. It means they will offer a guided and customized digital debt solution with a self-service credit portal for its loan and credit card customers under COVID-19, that how can they manage their credit card and the loan payments. And the platform will enable the customer to assess their credit account information in real time. And they can assess this on any device through the simplified self-service credit portal, and the customers could also monitor, manage and repay their outstanding dues easily through this portal. And all major Indian vernacular languages are supported by this platform. It means if you belongs to very regional area and you don't know any language, then you can use your regional language to assess this portal. So guys, remember again here HDFC Bank, we covered this question, like it was established in 1994. Its chatbot name is Eva. Its managing director and CEO is Shashidhar Jagdishan, and its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra. And its tagline is "We understand your word." Don't remember Creditas solution. It is a Gurugram based company or Haryana based organization. Moving to next question. Which neobank proposed a United States bank account with a MasterCard for the Indian students? It means the Indian students who want to go in the United States or want to pursue their study in the United States. The neobank of the United States basically offer a US bank account for the Indian student, and this neo bank is known as Eldra or Eldra. So Eldra Financial Solutions basically proposed a United States bank account with the help of the MasterCard for the Indian students. And you can see here Eldra offers a unique zero fees bank account to the US bound Indian students. And this is for the Indian students who are preparing for get admission in the United States of America. And its main objective is to enable the Indian students, professionals and the investors to get their United States bank account before they leave for the United States of America. This is very good thing. It means before settling in the United States of America or before going to the United States of America, the students, professional investors can get their bank account and they can assess this bank account before going to the United States of America. And Eldra just requires only a valid Indian passport and other local documents for the KYC needs. And it is just to open the account and no need for US social security number, US address proof or even a USA visa. So the only requirement is Indian valid passport and the local documents of India for the KYC purposes. And the account could be opened and operated from India as well, even before the students get the F1 visa. And no minimum balance requirement. It does not have foreign currency markup fees. No fees is there. And remember, the account will enable the users to transfer fund to USD account from India to protect against exchange rate depreciation. So this is again very important for the US students. So guys, just remember, it is Eldra Financial Inclusion and it is a digital banking and investment platform serving students, professional investors globally. It has partnered with the Blue Ridge Bank of the United States of America, and it was established in 2019. Its headquarters in the United States of America. But don't remember these things because this neobank is not important for us. But this type of account is very important for the banking student. It can be asked in the examination. Moving to next question. So we are moving to the important question. You have to like this video, share this video and subscribe this channel. By providing these three things, you are motivating us. And guys, please join our Telegram group from the description box link. And here is the question. Advertising Standards Council of India and which organization have signed an agreement to protect consumers from misleading claims in the food and beverages advertisement? So it is related to food and beverages advertisement, and they will restrict these advertisement and they will impose some penalties on this advertisement, and it is with the help of Advertising Standards Council of India and the FSSAI. So what is the meaning of FSSAI? Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. So you can see here, this Advertising Standard Council of India inspect with the FSSAI to curb misleading claims in the food and beverages advertisements. And you can see here, this organization will identify advertisement that violate provisions of the Food Safety and Standards Regulations 2018, and FSSAI will investigate the cases. It means this body, Advertising Standard Council of India, will check the advertising which are violating the provisions of this FSSAI regulations of 2018, and FSSAI will investigate the case. And this organization will utilize their national advertising monitoring service, which monitor over 900 TV channels and publications, over 3,000 websites. And apart from national brands, this organization will also examine the regional and the local one also. Because during the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been an increase in the number of complaints against the food beverages ad. So that's why we have to check these ads, we have to investigate these ads, and we have to impose some penalty on these advertising agencies. So this question is not most important and very important. We are covering in the important section. So you can just remember the question as in slide, but you can remember here is the organization FSSAI. FSSAI's headquarters is in New Delhi, and chairperson is Rita Teotia. Rita Teotia. Teaotia. Rita Teotia. Don't remember Advertising Standard Council of India. It is not important. Moving to next question. So it is from picture basically. Again, it is not so much important question. Minister of Ayush, Shri Kiran Rijiju ji, which has additional charge of Ministry of Ayush, launches 5 important portals on the Ayush sector. These portals are basically CTRI, Clinical Trial Registry India, Shahi Portal, Showcase of Ayurveda Historical Imprints, E-Meda, this Electronical Medical Heritage Accession, Amar Ayush Manuscripts Advanced Repository, and CCRS, Central Council of Research in Ayurvedic Sciences. So these portals are basically launched by the Ministry of Ayush, or you can say additional charge is live with the Kiran Rijiju ji, who is also the Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports. Otherwise, the main minister was Shripad Yesso Naik. Constituency was the North Goa. So you can also remember this. So this is not so much important. These portals, you can, if you want to read, then you can read from our website. It is not so much important. Moving to next question. It is our one-liner important point. Here is the first point. Sukhbir Singh Sandhu appointed as the Chief Secretary of Uttarakhand. Very important appointment, especially if you belongs to Uttarakhand. Earlier, the Chief Secretary was Om Prakash, but now Sukhbir Singh Sandhu, who was also the Chairman of the National Highway Authority of India. So it means this position will now become vacant. Let National Highway Authority of India, we will cover this question if anyone appointed as the chairman of this body. So remember Sukhbir Singh Sandhu appointed as the Chief Secretary of Uttarakhand. Recently, Chief Minister was also changed, and Pushkar Singh Dhammi become the new Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. Next, World Zoonosis Day 2021 celebrated on 6th of July. So it is just to create awareness about the zoonosis or the zoonotic diseases, a disease or infection transmitted from vertebrate animals to humans. And the day also commemorates the first vaccination administered against the zoonotic disease. So you have to just remember, and this zoonotic disease was rabies. For which the first vaccination was administered. So you have to remember, and it was on the 6th of July 1985 when vaccination against rabies was discovered. Next is Seabreaker. Israel unveiled 5th generation maritime and land-based long-range attack weapon system, and the name of this weapon is Seabreaker. The Seabreaker can be fired from both the sea and the surface with standoff range up to 300 km. And this missile is 4 meter long and weighs less than 400 kilograms. And its land version designed on the base of the Rafale Advanced Defense System, which belongs to Israel. So remember, Seabreaker is a missile which belongs to Israel. And IBM president and former Red Hat CEO Jim Whitehurst quits. So American multinational company, International Business Machine, or you can say IBM, has announced that Jim Whitehurst has decided to step down as the president of the company. And Whitehurst, former CEO of the Red Hat, has played a main role in the $34 billion IBM and Red Hat integration deal in 2018. And he will continue to work as a senior advisor to Arvind Krishna, chairman and CEO of the IBM. Next, Nihal Sreen wins Silver Lake Open Chess Tournament in Serbia. You have to just remember the name. Otherwise, nothing is important under this question. He is just 16 years old from Kerala. He belongs to which state? He belongs to Kerala. And he won the Silver Lake Open Chess Tournament in Serbia. He won 8 points from the 9 rounds and defeated the Serbia player in the finals. So you can remember this. Agriculture prices to ease, global targets on the climate hunger unlikely to met in 2021 to 30. It is a report of FAO and OECD. So basically two things are mentioned under this report. One is prices of food commodities are set to become cheaper in 2021 to 2030, and the global targets on reducing hunger and carbon emission are unlikely to met under the current policies. So food commodities may become cheap due to increase in productivity, and the report forecasts that 4% increase in overall greenhouse gas emission from the agriculture during 2021 to 30, with livestock accounting for 80% of the increase. So because of this greenhouse gas emission, we can't meet the global targets which we set till the year of 2030. So the report also states that without any additional efforts, United Nations goal of zero hunger by the year of 2030 will be missed. And there is a report of OECD and FAO. Both the organizations are important, like Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Its headquarters is in Paris, France. And FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, headquarters is in Rome, Italy. Now we are moving to the question of the day. What was the question of 6th of July 2021? Which of these banks are not for profit banks owned by depositors? So answer of this question is very simple. Answer is cooperative banks, because cooperative banking is retail and commercial banking organized on a cooperative basis. So they are generally not for profit banks owned by the depositor. So you have to remember, answer of this question is the cooperative banks or the banking. Next is the question of the day. Which of these are the lowest rung for the rural cooperative banking structure in India? At the lowest level, you have to recognize which type of banking is used under the cooperative sector. You have to answer me only in the comment box. I'm waiting your answer. Please like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel. And guys, by providing these three things, you are motivating us. And please share this video as maximum as possible, and please press this bell button and join our Telegram group for the official notification. And guys, it is Affairs Cloud promise, and it is my personal promise that if you are watching the videos regularly and if you are reading the current affairs from the PDF, your current affairs section will go strong, definitely. And if you can subscribe a PDF from our application. Application link is given in the description box, and you can subscribe for 1 year validity as well as for 2 year validity. Both the subscription prices are very much low, but we are providing 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. And guys, don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy. Happiness is the key of success. Thank you guys. Take care and bye bye.